Hello, so welcome again to the chapter 6 part 2. So in this section we will discuss about the multiple performance obligations. So what is multiple performance obligations? So say for example, think about our example of iPhone and the TNT mobile. Okay, so when we are ordering an iPhone with the TNT line, so TNT has two obligations: to deliver the iPhone and the network services. Okay, so in this case we can see that there are multiple obligations from the seller, so we need to consider about that. So if we suspect a contract has multiple performance obligations, so in that case you know that, so step number 2 and step number 4 are important, because in that case we need to identify what are the performance obligations we have, and number 2, we need to allocate the transaction price to each performance obligations. Okay, so these two steps, step 2 and 4, are very important in that case. And step 2, the identify the performance obligations. So sellers account for a promise to provide a good or service as a performance obligations if the good or service is distinct from each other goods or services in the contract. And think about the iPhone and TNT network services. So the iPhone is a distinct product, and the network service provided by TNT is also separate from the iPhone. Correct? iPhone is a device, but TNT will provide you the network services. Okay, so a good or service is distinct if it is both capable of being distinct and it can be separately identifiable from other goods or services. And let's have an example. So the TrueTech Industries manufactures the Tribox system, a multiplayer gaming system allowing players to compete with each other over the internet. So the Tribox system includes physical Tribox module as well as 1-year subscription. So the Tribox system has two things. Number 1, the Tribox module, and number 2, the 1-year subscription. Okay, so the 1-year subscription is normally sold for $60, and Tribox modules is sold for $240. They are separately $60 and $240. But if they sell the two as a package, so the package price is $250 per package. Okay. So on January 1, 2021, the TrueTech delivers 1,000 Tribox systems to the Comstores at a price of $250 per system. So TrueTech receives 250 from Comstores on January 25. Okay, so now let's see. What we can see, step number 1, identify the contract. Yes, we have a contract between the TrueTech and the Comstore. And step number 2, we have two performance obligations to deliver the Tribox module and the TriNet subscription. So there is a contract. So there are two performance obligations we can see, number 1 and number 2. Number 2, the Tribox module. We will deliver the module, and then we will continue to provide the service, the TriNet service. And the transaction price is 250,000, because 250 per system, 1,000 units. Okay, and we need to allocate the transaction price. Okay, so to allocate the transaction price, what we need to do, see, the standalone selling price is 240 of the Tribox module, and the TriNet subscription is 60. So what we will do, so the total 240 and 60. So this is the total amount, and then we will divide this 240 by this total amount. Okay, so let's see how we will do this. Okay, this is how. So the Tribox modules transaction price will be 80% of the total price, meaning out of 250, 80% will be allocated to the Tribox module. And for the TriNet subscription, it should be 20%. And now let's allocate the transaction price based on the ratio. So the TriBox modules would be 200 and the TriNet subscription would be 50 bucks. Okay, so total this 250 we have allocated. Okay, and now step number 5, recognize revenue. So on January 1, 2021, TrueTech records the revenue from the TriBox modules, but defers revenue for the TriNet subscription. See that. Accounts receivable debit and sales revenue 200,000 and deferred revenue. See that we have already delivered the TriBox. That is why we have recorded the sales revenue for this 80%, and the remaining deferred revenue, it is also called unearned revenue. The 20% of the 50,000 is because of the TriNet subscription, because we will be providing this TriNet service over the 12 months. So this 50,000, okay, this 50,000 will be divided by 12, and every month we will adjust this one. Okay, so now let's see how we adjust. See, in each of the 12 months following the sale, TrueTech records the following entry to recognize TriNet subscription. See that? So every month, deferred revenue debit and service revenue credit. See that? So deferred revenue is a liability. So it will be decreased every month by the amount of 4,167. So you can see the calculation as well. Okay, so we now understand how to record the multiple obligations. And now it's time to solve problems. So let's solve the problem set 6.2.